Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My guest this evening is Ray Bovich, we're going to talk about a half marathon that they're doing coming up in October and also a 10K road race. And Ray, welcome. How are you?
Morning, Pete. How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, thanks for coming down. So Ray, tell us a little bit about the event you guys are doing.
Sure. So it's the Aegis Wealth Partners Vineyard Half Marathon and 10K, as you mentioned. It'll be start and end at Chamard Vineyards in Clinton on Sunday, October 7. It'll be an out and back course beginning and ending at the vineyard. My firm, Aegis Wealth Partners, is the title sponsor. JB Sports is the race director. They're doing all the hard work. And the event is in support of Families Helping Families, a grassroots not-for-profit here in Clinton. So we're very excited to bring the event to town.
Nice. Now, how did the idea of the event come about?
So John Beisowitz, who is JB Sports, gave me a call back in the fall, right before this past Thanksgiving. He says, "So, who do you know in Clinton?" Which was a rhetorical question. He knew that I lived there and grew up there. And I said, "Well, I know Pete Mezzetti, and I know Willie Fritz, and I know Chumpy, and I know a whole lot of people. And if I don't know, they know everybody else."
Exactly.
But the real question that John was asking me was, what sort of not-for-profit group could benefit from an event such as this and bring out volunteers. By this point, John had already spoken to Chamard with the idea of, again, starting and ending an event there. And talking to Willie Fritz, we got in touch with Jessica Nemirs from Families Helping Families, and they jumped on with both feet. I can't tell you, they are just incredibly excited to participate in this sort of in this event, in this program. So we're expecting 100 volunteers between Families Helping Families, the volunteer fire department, the high school. You just volunteered if need be. So we're really looking forward to it.
Now, what's the course going to be?
So it's, as I repeat myself, it starts and ends at Chamard. So Chamard is on Cow Hill Road. It'll come all the way down Cow Hill to Nod, run up Nod Road, and you can go to jbsports.com for the course map. But it'll run up Nod Road to does that become Airline or Riverside Road, Riverside Drive up there, Riverside Road, I think it's called. I grew up there, but
I did too.
I don't remember.
Me either.
That's why there's the course map, and then it'll turn around, and the 10K will be on the same course. 10K will start a few minutes after the half marathoners go off, follow the same course, and of course turn around sooner than the half marathoners.
There you go.
Yep.
And from what people don't know is you and I met the other day.
Right.
But you're also an avid runner yourself.
Yes, I am.
So let's talk about that.
I describe myself as a very large runner. I'm sitting down, but I'm about 6'3", 215, so I'm much larger than your typical runner. But I enjoy it. I've run 5 marathons. Can't tell you how many half marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks over the years, and it's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to see cities and towns that maybe you've been in one way or another for your entire career, your entire life, but to see it from a different perspective and just meet people from all over the country. All these road races, from the smallest to the largest, are in support of one charity or another. So they're always for a good cause.
Exactly.
They really are.
Exactly. What's the largest race you've participated in?
So I ran, I think in terms of the field, I ran the New York Marathon 3 years ago, 2015, and that's a field of about 60,000 runners. I'm going to brag, the most prestigious I ran was the Boston Marathon just over 2 years ago, April of 2016. Much smaller field, but just a great town, great event. Really to be part of history was something that, as I said, I brag about.
Exactly.
I ran the Chicago Marathon, New York, Chicago, Boston. These are all cities I've worked in over the years. But it was a way to see each city from a different perspective. And while I consider myself a New Yorker at heart, Chicago is probably the friendliest marathon that I've run. Yep.
What's that?
It's Midwest.
Yeah, exactly.
In Midwest, very friendly. Also, the course. It's a big circular loop. Without getting into too much detail, the first half is a fair bit of zigging and zagging, so you see a lot of the same spectators following the runners from mile 3 to mile 6 to mile 9.
Right.
The spectators are moving a couple hundred yards while the runners are running several miles, so you see a lot of the same signs again, you see a lot of the same people. And these big races, they are very much, at least back in the middle to the back of the pack where I run, they're floating communities. You get to know the same people. You're sharing stories. some of the stories you pick up along the way are inspiring. When I ran Boston 2 years ago, somewhere past the halfway mark, I came up with a fellow I learned along the way was Sergeant Jose Lopez, who had lost a limb below a knee in service. And he was struggling a bit, was adjusting his prosthetic. Is there something I can do to help? He says, no, sir, just go and have a good time. Just enjoy the race. Again, just inspiring to see people like that. Same race, I came up behind a woman who was struggling a little bit, and the back of her T-shirt says, I hope Dad is proud of me. So I asked her story. She had lost her father to cancer, and she was running for the charity that was conducting research to the cancer who took her dad. And I said, I tear up. She teared up. She said, I hope my dad is looking down at me. So just incredibly powerful. When I ran Chicago, I ran in support of Susan G. Komen Foundation. We lost my mother-in-law to breast cancer 16 years ago now, and she fought it for 25 years, an incredibly valiant effort. But it was just really meaningful to be able to raise a couple $1,000s in support of such an event. So all these events, they mean something.
Exactly.
From the small to the large.
Right. Now, as far as the event goes, obviously there's a registration fee.
Sure. Yeah.
And let's talk about the registration fee. Is registration open
Registration's
online
open
now?
online. You go to jbsports.com. Again, John Beiswitz, jbsports.com. On the homepage, I was there just today, you look for the Aegis Wealth Partners Vineyard Half Marathon. Hit the link and you can register online. You can also download a form and mail it in.
Wow.
The interest is very, very high. As of this afternoon, we have about 300 registrants already.
Okay.
Chief Vince DeMeo, who has been very supportive of this, tells us we have to close it off at, I think he said 1,200 runners. Don't tell me we might sneak a couple more in there if we have the interest.
Right.
But we have a lot of interest so far. But if there are spots available, there will be registration at the day of the event. Current registration fee is $65, I believe. As we get closer, prices will start to go up. All registrants will receive a tech T-shirt, and I'll tell you, runners love the good tech T-shirts. JB Sports always gets nice ones.
Okay.
All finishers will get an inscribed wine glass.
Okay.
All finishers will get a basket of bread and cheese from Chamard. And then finishers over 21 years old will get a glass of wine from Chamard. So there's a lot that the runners will get for their $65.
Exactly. And like you said in your opening, you wanted to choose Families Helping Families
Right.
as your nonprofit of choice in the organization. Besides you being from Clinton, me being from Clinton, obviously Families Helping Families is the supported cause, and what a great cause they are.
Absolutely. Right.
Why?
So we looked at it for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
As you probably know, certain charities can cause some frustration, can cause some tension. They might not be supported by one group or another. We're very happy to work with Families Helping Families because it's grassroots. The name is descriptive of what they do. Large not-for-profits are businesses. I sit on the board of a large not-for-profit here in the state.
Yes.
Which is very, very efficient. But some of the largest not-for-profits, there's a cost to running the operation, and a lot of people are disappointed with how much money can go back to operations. Families Helping Families, it's thin, man. Every dollar that comes in goes back out to the community. So we wanted to make sure that the not-for-profit we were working in support of, was one that everybody can get their arms around. We wanted to make sure that as a not-for-profit, it was efficiently run. fit the bill. We wanted to make sure it was a not-for-profit that, as I said, could turn out volunteers. I think we're looking for about 100 volunteers in total on race day, between registration, between the various water stops along the way, in directing traffic in support of the town, the police from Clinton, handing out prizes at the end, cleaning up after the event. We're going to need about 100 runners. Checked out 100 volunteers. We know that Families Helping Families can turn out that number of people quite easily. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And how supportive has the town been during this whole?
Incredibly supportive. So as I said, John gave me a call just before Thanksgiving. We chatted a couple times. He and Willie and I got together. John, Willie, and I got together with Jessica Demers from Families Helping Families, and we went with Chief Vince DeMayo back in December. Chief, what do you think about this plan? He couldn't sign on fast enough. So we met with, to make it official, we met with the police commission on a snowy night, as I recall it, in January. John had a little bit of trouble getting there from his office in Brantford, but we got there in time and got the support of the police commission. Shortly afterwards, went and met with the Board of Selectmen to tell them our plan, tell them what we were looking to do. They had a number of questions. They had a number of very constructive suggestions. And once we were done, and once they said, we're behind you, we're going. We had things to do, and people are coming up. How can we help? And so the town's been very supportive. So all those people who came up after the police commission meeting and after the Board of Selectmen meeting and offered their help, I know who they are. They're not getting off too easily.
No, definitely not. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Not at all.
We'll be right back.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
And good evening, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Ray Bovich talking about the Aegis Financial Half Marathon and 10K. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, Pete.
How are you?
Happy to be here.
Well, thanks for sticking around. So we were talking about the first half of the segment about the race and everything. Mm-hmm. What do we want to talk? Let's talk about how, again, we talked about it before the break, but let's talk about the town.
So as you asked about the town, you asked about the support of the town, and again, I can't tell you how supportive the town has been, how enthusiastic. First Select Woman Christine Goupil has been fantastic. There are a lot of self-serving reasons to bring this up. I mean, certainly you feel good by helping a not-for-profit as strong and as impactful as Families Helping Families.
Yes.
But I'm a near lifelong resident of the town of Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very excited to show my hometown off. We're expecting 800 or 900 runners in the half marathon, 200 to 300 runners in the 10K. Okay. And one of the questions that the board had was, what are these runners like? Well, runners by and large are, have the average road runner has something in the order of 3 years of college. Okay. They, therefore tend to be more affluent than not. They're certainly disciplined people. There is a strong etiquette among the racing community in terms of not stepping on the runner's toes next to you, things like that, and some more subtle etiquette as well. So there's people that you want to bring to your town that you want to try to show off. So very excited to bring, 1,000 runners from, So far we have 7 people from 7 states and Canada as registrants, so those numbers will grow. So bring people like that into our town and really just show a lot of what the town has to offer in terms of its community, in terms of its local businesses like Chamard, and again, it's just very excited. So many things come together when an event like this gets off the ground.
Exactly, and like you said, you grew up in town.
Yep.
So did I. So
did you. Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't know Ray Bovich, you don't know Pete Mezzetti, there's something wrong with you in town. It's like,
well, I'm a little more low key than that, but yeah.
I am too. I've mellowed out in my old age.
Exactly. Yeah.
And one of the other people that should be well known in town, you mentioned before. We should mention
so
him
Willie
now.
Fritz, our town's former first selectman.
Yes.
I think I'm going to get the numbers right. He served as first selectman for 5 terms. He was on the board for a term before serving as first, and then a term afterwards.
Correct.
He joined my firm, Aegis Wealth Partners, 2.5 years ago when he left the office of first selectman, and I've been thrilled to get to know him better and to work with him. Our firm is a wealth management firm. We provide services to help people plan for retirement. We work with quite a number of small businesses in town, managing the town's pension plans. Not the town's pension plans, the firms, the employers' pension plans. We partner with companies to provide health benefits to small business owners and property and casualty services as well. And while a lot of that sounds like a commercial, and frankly it is to a degree, the role we're in, and I think what Willie Fritz is really enjoying about it is a way to do well by doing good. We help people meet their goals, meet their objectives, manage their businesses more efficiently, more effectively, so they can hire more people, give back to the town. So, it's been a real pleasure working with Willie for coming up on 3 years now, 2.5 years. Yep.
Wow,
yep.
Good for him.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit more about the race.
Yes.
And what would you do as an avid runner? What would you do to prepare for this race? And
how, so get out
and how and.
Yeah,
the race is in October, so
it's Sunday, October 7. Sunday, October 7.
Yep.
I believe the gun is at it's on the site. It's 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I should know these things. I'm sure I'll be there in plenty of time to start. But there are plenty of websites that you can go if you're not an avid runner, or if you've been running and you want to get ready for a half marathon. You go to plenty of websites. One of our sponsors is Sound Runner. Go to soundrunner.net.
Oh, yeah.
And on their website are training tips for marathons and half marathons. So basically, you look to see how much you've been running, how frequently, how far, and then you set up a training program that works back from the event. As you can imagine, the training increases in length as you approach, and then then about 2 weeks before a half marathon or a marathon, you get to the part of the training where I was really the best at, which is the taper. You've gotten all your miles in, you're as strong as you're going to be, and you're backing off to stay in shape, but maybe to let some nagging injuries heal, or to try to prevent injuries.
Now you're more towards the back of the
middle of the pack, and as I get a little older, working to the back. But again, that's where all the fun is. That's
of course.
So much more casual there. We're, as I said a moment ago, we're chit-chatting. Where you're from, what else you've run. We're telling stories. A lot of it are like fish stories.
Yeah.
How true are they or not?
Exactly.
But we don't question.
I remember a couple of years ago, I was out covering an event. I was covering a 5K road race for another nonprofit locally here, and one of the runners did the 5K, but he did it barefoot.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I look at him, he's like, I'm going to do this barefoot. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I am. So I purposely waited for him to cross the finish line. Like, how was it? He was like, outstanding. I'm like,
was at the Stewart Ace Hardware Bluefish 5K.
It was.
So we're not in competition. This is a rising tide floats all boats type of event.
Yeah.
The more runners we have, the more we develop. So I'm not sure I've seen that runner, but you go to a number of races. Every runner has their favorite races, the races they do every year, and there's one fella that runs every race year round. barefoot, freezing cold, pouring rain, burning heat. You know, his feet are used to it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
No, I couldn't either.
I couldn't. But you know, it's everybody. You know, I think I know who you're talking about. Everybody has their style.
Oh yeah.
You know, back in the pack, we'll talk about the shoes we like. You know,
Right.
we'll talk about that we like one sports drink or another. You know, how often take water, what your training's been like. So it's very much a you know, a collegial group. Right. At least again back where I am.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of sponsors, we didn't talk about sponsors yet.
So in no particular order, Sound Runner,
Right.
you know, is a sponsor. So soundrunner.net. We'll have packet pickup, I believe, in their old Sabrick store on this Friday and Saturday before the event.
Okay.
Typically, I'm not trying to put Press and Ranton on the spot, but typically runners will get a discount if they go into the store with their bib afterwards for, you know, for equipment and supplies. So Sound Runner, the Stone Agency out of Guilford, you know, is a sponsor. The Shoreline Orthopedics, I'm working off of memory here, is a sponsor. Thank you for checking notes. And I know we have one other sponsor lined up. Depending upon the type of sponsor you are, you know, higher or lower level sponsor, you know, their name appears on the back of the shirt. The higher level sponsor you are, the higher you are on the shirt, as you can imagine.
Right.
Sponsors can enter, you know, can get complimentary race entries as well. So, you know, always encourage a team, a company to sponsor, become a sponsor and enter 2 or 3 of their runners as well. Again, all these details are available on jbsports.com. People can donate through the event directly to Families Helping Families Without Running.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. So it's a you know, it's a lot of ways to get involved.
Now, what exactly is a tech T-shirt?
Tech T-shirt is you know, is not cotton. It's a synthetic, and
Okay.
they've developed over the years, so they wick away.
Breathable.
Breathable. That's
Got
it. They
it.
wick away the moisture. I think the shirt I'm wearing now,
Okay.
you know, is technically a tech T-shirt.
Okay.
I believe it's a golf T-shirt. I'm the only one in my business who doesn't golf. But it wicks away the moisture. It stays lighter when you run. You know, it's very humid outside the studio today.
It is.
So if you were to run in a T-shirt, cotton T-shirt would be very heavy. You risk chafing. You know, this is
Exactly.
lighter,
More breathable.
comfortable, much more breathable. Exactly right.
Nice. So what else do we want to tell everybody about the event?
You know, just we're really looking forward to it. We're really looking forward to the support has been incredible. As I run my regular routes with my different groups, I've heard other people passing by from a different direction. Hey, did you hear about the race that's coming up in Clinton? That's just, you know, it's very, very exciting to hear that. But, you know, again, it's the Aegis Wealth Partners Vineyard Half Marathon in 10K on Sunday, October 7. It's starting and ending at Chamard. We're very appreciative of the support that Chamard is offering. So they're one of our official sponsors. I knew I missed one.
I was going to say, yes.
Yeah. They're one of our official sponsors. Interested in running, go to jbsports.com. Follow the link to register. Follow the link to check out the course. If you're interested in sponsoring, being a sponsor, you can go to jbsports.com. There's a link to sponsor, or you can call John Beisowitz or Maggie Fitter at JB Sports. Their phone number is on the site, and look for sponsorship information as well. You can call me,
Right.
and I'll direct you back to them as well.
Now, but what if people want to volunteer?
Volunteer. So I'll be meeting with Jessica Nemirs in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Actually, next week to see where we are. We'll have more meetings as time goes on. But again, you can contact me. My number is 203-318-7015 if you want to either be a sponsor, run, or volunteer. You know, we're looking for volunteers to help register at the event, to pass out water and UCAN along the course, as I said, to direct traffic along the way and hand out prizes when it ends. And volunteers will get a shirt of their own.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Be a nice party afterwards. We'll have a band. Forgot the name of the band. I should be more
I was gonna
prepared
say-
for these things.
gonna
Yeah.
say it's not in my notes.
Not in your notes.
I don't think.
I was told who it
Let's
was. I've seen them in a number of races. It's a very good cover band. Run for the money. Run for the money. So
Nope, not in my notes.
yeah. So you know, there'll be a fun party afterwards. As you can imagine, parking is limited at Chamard.
Oh, yeah.
So the Clinton outlets are very supportive. We'll be busing to and from the outlets, between the outlets and Chamard.
Very nice.
Most don't know, but there's a back entrance to the outlets which comes right up to Cow Hill Road. So that if you don't want to bus, I'm not one who likes buses. If you don't want to bus, it's a short walk, especially for half marathoners. It's a short walk from parking to the event.
I was going to say, I know the shortcut you're referring to.
There you go.
It's not
local boy.
Right.
Local boy. You know how to get in trouble and stay out of trouble, right? I got it.
We know how to get there.
Exactly right.
We know how to get there. And before we say goodnight, let's talk about how supportive the town has been. One more
Again, I can't tell you how supportive the town has been. Vince DeMayo, Christine Goupil, the first select woman, both very supportive at the Traffic Commission meeting and the Board of Selectmen meeting. People came up afterwards. Even if they weren't on the board or on the commission, they had other business there. They just couldn't wait to get involved. We're seeing very good sponsorship interest already. We know that through other Families Helping Families events, we'll get a lot of support, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of sponsorship. We'll be testing people's patience a little bit. As you can imagine, the roads will be closed for the couple hours during the race.
Yeah.
But, people along the way will get an official notice about 10 days ahead of time. I can't tell you how many people come out during these events and clap, hand out water. I don't know if it's a warm day, they'll run their sprinklers so runners can run by and cool off. It's an awful lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah, it's an awful lot of fun. Very excited to bring it to my hometown.
It is, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And as far as the event goes, what types of information can people find on jbsports.com?
Again, they'll find a link to register. They'll find the growing list of sponsors. They'll find the course route, a little more descriptive than I was a moment ago. They'll find the course route, and they'll find busing and starting time information. Very
nice. And again, one more time with the course route.
Cow Hill Road,
yep.
From Chamard down Cow Hill, up Nod to we decided that was Airline Road
yes,
up there.
Yes, it was Airline Road up there. Yeah.
Up towards Reservoir Road and back.
And you're going to do this in how long?
I thought you weren't going to ask that question.
I'm not.
No, I'm going to have to not have to train, but I've
exactly.
done a half in under 2 hours. Right now, probably going to take 220 or 225.
All right.
So we'll see. I'm going to have fun. That's my goal.
But you might end up working because depending on what's going on.
Exactly right.
Ray Bovich.
Hey.
Thanks for coming down.
Pete, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
See you soon.
All right.
On behalf of Ray Bovich, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next time.